Good morning, everyone. I'm going to focus on three things this morning, based on the feedback I've been receiving from you since we made the announcement on Wednesday that there is more maintenance and repair work required on the Bearspaw South feeder main. First, I'll provide you with an overview of the work that needs to be done, as well as the timeline. Next, I'll explain the short, medium, and long-term plans for maintaining the health of this feeder main as well as water flow from the Bearspaw Treatment Facility. And lastly, I'll address some of the questions that you have been posing over the last 2 days as it relates to this maintenance work. So, in terms of what is happening, we sent a tool called a pipe diver into the feeder main when we restored the water flow back in early July. We were waiting on the results of that pipe diver to come to us, and when we received them on the 26th of July, there was collaboration between consultants and our internal teams to analyze the data, to make sure we could understand what needed to be done in terms of maintenance, what the fix would look like, and how long it would take. Now that we have this information, we advised you on Wednesday that on August the 26th, we will start the work of taking that pipe out of service. To do that, we will need to go back into stage 4 water restrictions outdoors. And that's to make sure that we can keep the Glenmore Treatment Facility up and running and flowing water throughout the system as the Bearspaw South feeder main is closed. On August the 28th, we will begin the excavation work that's required to reach the pipe and do the repair work along the various stretches on 33rd Avenue Northwest, as well as 16th Avenue Northwest, and in a part of Parkdale. This work will commence on August 28th, as I mentioned, and we anticipate it will wind down by September the 23rd. So that is the schedule. In terms of the repair work that needs to be done, once the pipe is exposed, there will be rebar and concrete that is added to the places that need additional strength, and that encasement work will provide strengthening of the pipe. So that's the work that we need to do. Now, I know many of you are saying, if this is repair or maintenance, how will you ensure the strength of this pipe for the long term? Well, in the spring, there are a couple of things that are being considered right now. There could be a liner put into the pipe to add additional integrity. So if you think about the fact that we are encasing this pipe with concrete now in the short term, and for the medium term, we will also add a liner or a sleeve, that's our reassurance against any potential cracks or leaks or breaks. So that's part of the plan. There's also a plan being considered to dig alongside of this existing pipe to put in a new one, but that will obviously take time. The other thing I can tell you is that right now, there is current planning for mid and long term around the Bearspaw feeder main. And there is work that is already underway with a private engineering firm to design the medium and long-term plan to reinforce or replace the line. And that's just what I talked to you about, adding a sleeve or a liner or installing new pipe adjacent to the existing pipe. Now, in terms of long-term redundancy planning, there's a couple of things that are underway. There is design for a north feeder main, and there's design for a south feeder main. So that means we will have additional pipes coming out of that Bearspaw Treatment Facility. And this is the situation that we find ourselves in now. With only that one pipe coming out of there, we have to shut it down and limit water flow out of Bearspaw Treatment Facility. With this additional north and south feeder main, we will have more ways of getting water out of the Bearspaw Water Treatment Facility. In addition to that, we are increasing the capacity at the Bearspaw Treatment Facility because we know with population growth, we will need to be able to draw on more water. So that's what we are looking at doing in terms of medium and long-term plans. Now, some of the questions that you have been posing over the last few days. What are the impacts going to be this time around to businesses like dentist's office or hairdressers or pet grooming facilities that require water use indoors? I can tell you that we want to have no impact on businesses, so we will continue to watch what we're doing in terms of water consumption, and I would ask you all to please consider ways, whether you are a business or at home, to reduce your indoor water usage. You did an excellent job in June figuring out ways to limit the amount of water you're using, and I think we can go back to relying on some of those methods as we are doing this maintenance and repair work. A lot of you also had questions about the impacts to landscaping companies, to window washers, and other businesses that rely on water outdoors, as we will be in stage 4 restrictions. I can tell you that our city teams are in conversation right now with the types of businesses that rely on outdoor water, and they are coming up with solutions to ensure those businesses can keep running. The reason that we advised you of this work 3 weeks in advance is so those types of conversations could happen, and we can make sure that we are in a better situation this time and we are more prepared. If you remember on June the 5th when that feeder main broke, we all woke up the next morning very early to an emergency alert, and we immediately went into restrictions, and we had to figure out a way to deal with all of these things. This time, we are trying our best to get it right before we go into the restrictions and the maintenance and repair. Some of you have also asked, does this mean that I will need to keep up indoor water reductions? And I can tell you that yes, it is not easy to ask you to do that again. But yes, if you could go back to the ways that you reduced your consumption indoors, things like taking shorter showers, when you're running the shower, to capture that water in a bucket as it's warming up and using that to water your plants or your garden. Things like less toilet flushes, things like only a full load of laundry or dishes. I am asking you to do all of those things. I will be doing them along with you. And some of you have said, why announce this news when you don't have all the details? The reason we wanted to let you know early is because it's important to be transparent with you. We know right now that there are 16 places where we need to do maintenance on this feeder main. And keeping that information from you is not right. That is not the type of responsibility and accountability that you deserve. So we have told you what we need to be doing, and we are now engaging actively with the businesses along 16th Avenue and the residents that will be impacted in Bowness or Parkdale to help understand what the construction will look like, what the repairs mean to them, and approximately how long all of this will take. This is a very iterative and interactive process where people who are impacted are directly involved in the planning of what we're going to be doing. I want to offer you my appreciation for the fact that you were so diligent in June in reducing your water usage, and you understood what it meant to band together at this important time to conserve water. We will need you to do that again in the coming month, starting on August the 26th, and we hope to have this all wound down by September the 23rd. So thank you in advance for the efforts I know you will be putting in. I want to offer my respect for your patience, for your understanding, and your compassion. All of you have understood that if we do this work together of reducing our water usage, we can get to a place where we are strengthening this feeder main and keeping our water network safe and secure. I also want to offer you reassurance. Now that we know that there are 16 places that need to be addressed in the short term, we are actively undertaking that work. We could have said that we don't want to do it right now, we will do it next year. We didn't think that was prudent. So thank you for understanding that we are going to get this repair work done to make sure you have a strong working network for your water. I also want to thank the folks at the Montgomery and Bowness business improvement areas, as well as the Bowness Community Association. Those folks took the time to meet with Councillors Wong and Sharp and myself yesterday. They were able to tell us what they experienced last time and what they would recommend for this time in terms of communication, in terms of signage, and all of the other ways that we can keep businesses and residents well informed as we go into this maintenance period. I also want to thank both Councillor Sharp and Councillor Wong for being so engaged and committed to community. I know both of them have been on the ground speaking with businesses and residents to understand concerns and to convey what it is that we will be doing. And remember that the businesses in Montgomery and Bowness will continue to be open as we go into the maintenance and repair period between August 26th and September 23rd. Please make sure you continue to visit those businesses for any of the needs that you have. Please maintain your appointments at all of those locations. I would advise that you continue to check our website to see what kind of traffic detours you may face. But let's rally around Bowness and Montgomery. These are communities that have had more than their fair share of hardship when it comes to water over the years. And this year, as we go into this maintenance work, let's make sure we're showing them some love and showing up to their businesses and keeping them going. I will see you again at 2 o'clock today with the infrastructure and water teams, where we will be able to address some more of your questions. Until then, please be well, and please continue to take care of each other. Thank you.